Hey guys, I want to talk today about a question I probably get once or twice a week. And the question is, how much time does it take to train my dog? So where I'm coming from with this is very frequently I'm talking to somebody on the phone and we're talking about a training program and all right, here's what's going to happen and here's what your dog is going to do, and we're talking about our Transform Your Dog in 60 Days program, and if you put in the effort, your dog will be doing this in 60 days. We'll have great on-leash obedience, off-leash obedience, etc., etc. And so the question I often get is, well, how much time is that going to take every day? And it's a good question because I know a lot of folks are busy. We've got, there's so much going on in today's busy world. So I've really broken it down to 3 times that you need to think about if you're going to get your dog trained. Number one, hopefully you can see that, I don't know if you can, is a daily walk. We want to get our dogs on a daily walk. Now, I know not everyone's going to walk their dog 365 days a year, but at least during a training process, you want to get as close as you can at 7 days a week, getting a walk for your dog. So much training happens on a walk because it's not just walking, we're working on sits, we're working on downs, we're working on relationship, we're working on calm mindset. So it's not just the exercise of getting your dog out there, but there's so much more than that. We're working on behavior problems when they see other dogs. We're working on behavior problems when they see cats or squirrels or whatever it is. There's so much that happens during the walk that I really try to encourage folks to get on a walk. So people say, well, how long should the walk be? As much as you can. If you can do 45 minutes a day, that's great. If you can do 20 minutes a day, that's far better than 0 minutes a day. So 0 minutes a day is, let's wash that. We don't want that. Again, there's going to be some days you're not. But if all you can do is 20 minutes a day, do that because that's better than 0. But if you can do 30 to 45 minutes, we often find that's a really great number. It really gets the dog physically worn out, mentally worn out, and it helps with all sorts of things. So the walk is something that you want to just schedule in. If you got to wake up 30 minutes early, do that, but get that walk in. So number 2 is just straight practice time. Time that you're just practicing new behaviors. And typically this practice time is what you're going to need during kind of a training program. You want to walk your dog forever. You want to keep walking your dog forever. But practice time while you're training your dog, or maybe while you're touching up training for your dog, you want to dedicate 20 to 40 minutes per day for practice. Maybe you're working on the sit command, you're going to do some repetitions, you're going to go in the backyard, you're going to go in the living room, you're going to do this. Maybe you're working on the down command, maybe you're working on recall and you got to put on a long line and go out in your backyard for a bit. Whatever it is, you want to take dedicated time where you're just practicing and you're saying, okay, this new skill set that we're working on, we need repetitions. And that's really what it is so much of training is repetitions. When you see, when you see these videos online of, wow, look how amazing this police dog was, or this agility dog was, or this whatever, like the top of the top, right? What you're seeing is more than likely a talented trainer, but what you're definitely seeing is somebody who just practiced it and did repetition after repetition after repetition after repetition, and we're just able to get in so many repetitions that it became so knee-jerk reaction for the dog to behave the proper way when that happens. The same is true for you. I mean, think about people in high pressure, high intensity jobs, whether that's a firefighter or an airline pilot or something like that, to where they have to do something split second in the heat of the moment. How do they do that? They've practiced that same thing over and over and over and over and over, such that when the moment arises, boom, they can do it. And so many people want that from their dog. They want their dog to be on a hike and a deer bolts, and they want to have the dog come right away. Well, cool, you can do that. We teach our clients to do that all the time. But how many times did you practice when your dog saw a cat, when your dog saw another dog? How many times did you practice on a long line when there was a deer around or something like that? You have to get there. There is no substitute for repetitions. You have to get repetitions in. Now the third part is what we call integration training. So if you're looking at it, this walk ideally is maybe a half hour. This practice time is ideally a half hour. So you might be dedicating an hour to 2 hours a day, dedicating during the training process to getting your dog trained. Now, what integration training is perhaps, I don't want to say the most important because it's hard, but anyways, it's incredibly important. What integration training is where, how do I put this? You integrate the training with what you're already doing. So you're already sitting down to eat dinner at night. Well, that's a great time to work on place. Send your dog to his bed, do a down stay for 20 minutes while you eat dinner. Now at first your dinner gets cold because you're up and down 20 times because your dog doesn't place very well, but that's a great time to work on something. Or maybe you're watching TV or getting on your computer. That's a good time to work on a down stay because you're just going to be in one spot. Let's work on the dog being in one spot. Or maybe you're walking through a door. 10 seconds, have the dog wait at the door. Or maybe you're giving dinner. 10 seconds, have your dog sit. Or just anything that you might be doing, integrate these commands, integrate this obedience as you go. Now, you always have to be in a position to back up your commands, and that's one of the big problems that people do, is they're constantly giving command with no way of backing it up. And that's what integration training is. We've got leashes on or training collars or whatever we're using. And so while we're going about our day, we're having the dog do commands. And if he does them, fantastic, good rewards. If he doesn't do them, we're correcting and teaching the dog that it's important to do these things. You know, even while because when you're practicing, it's really good to teach the dog how to do things. But the dog starts to realize practice is one thing and life is another thing. We want the dog to realize that we are obedient in everyday life. You know, even when somebody rings the doorbell, even when we've got guests over, even when there's another dog, even when I'm eating dinner, these are times where you still need to be obedient and hold a down stay, or do a sit, or wait at the door, or come when you need to come, or whatever the case might be. So you want to have, integration training doesn't take time. You're already eating dinner, you're already walking through that door, whatever it was. It doesn't take time. It takes mental bandwidth. You have to be mentally prepared and thinking and ready to give a command and back it up when you're doing something else. So yeah, these are the three three time commitments that you need to make when training your dog. Get a walk, get some practice, do some integration training, and if you can do that, you're going to find yourself in very good shape.